Okay, I'm making a quick video because I don't have time to write anything, but I wanted to talk about a thing that I went to see this evening with Country Mouse that was called Wicked Women, and it was I guess, like an amateur dramatic performance in a local library. Um, and it made me think about what is the point of history, because I'm not totally clear on what the point of history is quite often. And this was like, it was like really nice as an event in that it's put on, out of enthusiasm. It's unfunded project, and obviously the company who put it on have put a lot of work into it. It's like a devised performance, and they got like five uh, women murderers, or women who were sentenced to death in Camden, in the 1800s, I think all of them were, and told their stories, and then they kind of mixed that in with Grimm's fairy tales. And in the show they quoted, and on the programme they quoted Neil Gaiman saying, "Fairy tales are more than true, not because they tell us dragons exist, but because they tell us dragons can be beaten." Um, which, that's a great quote about fairy tales. Um, but I didn't, I don't think I understood how that related to the stories that they told this evening, because it felt a bit like, um, that, yeah, I mean, the show is called Wicked Women, and it was about women doing, terrible, devious deeds like uh, killing one woman who killed a woman, um, who had like had an affair with her husband in like a really gruesome way. Um, and I thought the whole thing of it was really almost like without any politic, which I found quite weird, because I don't really get history without a kind of political reason to tell that story, or to bring it up, or to have any kind of comment on that story. And it was all very like horrible histories, gruesome. Um, like the actors all had like this kind of like, grey face paint, and also it was a cast of five women and a guy. And the guy was the narrator, and the five women each played, like, leads in the different stories of the five female murderers, and they also played like other characters in the other stories. And they also had like, they'd done it so they had like face paint on, like mono brows, and like kind of like real shading around the jaw, um, to, I guess, like unfeminize them, um, which I found quite weird, as it almost felt like it had the same, or it did feel like it had the same kind of subtext as any standard Disney, um, like, beautiful women are beautiful on the, outside and on the inside, and then there are these like, masculine women who are like disgusting and evil, and it was all a bit like, that whole kind of, um, idea that any woman who isn't, uh, really like maternal and really sweet and really virtuous, is like some sort of, abhorrent, unnatural, uh, creature who should be sent to the ducking pond and then burned at the stake. So I guess what I was thinking that it just seemed without any, as if across the board, the idea of people learning about local history just is a good thing. Um, but I didn't get why was I being reminded of these five women, aside from possibly to like have some kind of relational insight into why perhaps these women were kind of committing the crimes that they were committing, or were killed through capital punishment at the time, or any kind of, political, like, or anything like socially specific to that time period, um, was quite like ironed out, or like was not brought into it at all. It was just like, ghost stories of like how terrible women can be. and how those women are barely women at all. So that was quite odd, really. Uh, and but I mean, it was really well received. Um, and and it's a thing that I think they're going to pursue at the library, and they're having a bunch of other stuff like that. But it just made me um, wonder about other like local history things, and maybe if you're doing history like on a big scale, there'd be certain pressures to answer to why is this story being told, and who's benefiting from the story being told, and what what this offers as a kind of more like national narrative. Because I definitely think that when you see like British history, and like the British history of like the GCSE syllabus is like really clearly about citizenship and giving a next generation a kind of idea of the Great British Empire that they can be part of and stand with, and justifying, I guess, a lot of like British foreign policy, and trying to put like a really positive spin on where we are now, even though obviously British history not not something that many people would want to stand by, in terms of what the way that Britain has behaved historically towards the rest of the world. Um, but then yeah, so just like applying that on a local level, it didn't really seem like there was any kind of critique about what story is being told or what. It was just like, oh great, yay, local history, brilliant. Um, and I didn't think you would get that on a bigger level. And generally, I thought it was a bit like it was like Daily Mail of the past, where you can sort of say the Daily Mail is news, but only in the very uh, in the most generous way. You could say the Daily Mail is news, whereas it's kind of sort of a judgment. A lot of the articles are just sort of judgment, commentary, and gossip. And this was kind of judgment, commentary, and gossip of the past, um, and a bit of a freak show. It was like, yeah, it was the take a break of, murder of the 1800s, sort of people being like, oh my god, yeah, she stabbed her husband with a fork and then pulled his testicles out. So yeah, I don't know what I learnt this evening, but clearly it was enough for me to want to talk about it. 7 minutes and 48 seconds. Yes, I'm going to write something